Hi, I'm Max Spainhour.
And I'm Troy McCormick. Welcome to Indiana Outdoor Adventures. Indiana Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by High-Tech Firearms and Training, Haubrey Forestry Consulting, managing your timber and wildlife resources, Derby City Game Calls, it's your call, Lawrence County Tourism Commission, discover an unexpected destination, Hillbilly Custom Game Calls, and Fire Knock, the most advanced lighted knock. Hi, I'm Troy McCormick, and we've got an exciting episode of Indiana Outdoor Adventures for you today. Mac and I are going out in the field with a couple of friends of ours that are licensed falconers, and we're going rabbit hunting with their hawks. Now, this is not something that very many people get the opportunity to do, and even more exciting is the fact that we're going to be using two species of hawks that are not native to Indiana, and I've not had the opportunity to be close to before, and we're going to get to see how the guys have trained them to hunt for rabbits and how they work with the birds. Now, we're going to be hunting in some property that they've got permission to hunt that's next to the interstate. And when I first saw it, I was a little concerned about the hawks maybe flying off and getting off into traffic and having some problems, but it's never an issue. They've trained their birds so well that the birds stayed right with them, and we had a really good hunt. So we're going to check in with them, learn a little bit about falconry in Indiana, and then we're going to try a little different hunting. We're going to go out with pro staff member Jack Rollins on a deer hunt and have a good time out in the woods with Jack and see how he does out in the woods. Let's go check in now with our falconers and their birds.
Fuzzy like all. I'm surprised to go after that black fuzzy thing. I'm gonna tell you what, that's worth its weight in gold. Really, first show we did, it didn't happen.
So yeah, we're talking about a sport that goes back, like I say, 4,000 years, and it's one of the most regulated types of hunting in Indiana and maybe even in the country. Because of the 100-question test, a 2-year apprenticeship with somebody who's already licensed, and at that point, then you've got several levels to keep working up to upgrade your bird and type of bird. It's state regulations, it's federal regulations. What kind of permits do you have to have?
You have to have a state and a federal permit, both, and those are every 3 years. Every 3 years, your facilities are inspected. There's a lot. I've been doing this for 20 years, and you learn something every year.
Now, you apprenticed Zach.
Yes.
And that process is a learning experience for him to learn from your knowledge and years of experience. But how does that apprenticeship process actually work?
Well, Zach came to me. He got my name from somebody. He came to me to talk to me about it. First thing I'd do as a sponsor is I want to make sure anybody that's going to go into falconry is responsible and going to take the commitment that it takes to take care of one of these birds and to fly them. You have to fly them almost daily, and they take a lot of work.
You can't just leave them in the house and once a week or once a month take them out and work them. It's like a good hunting dog. You've got to get out there and work with them all the time.
Yeah, and the more you work with him, the better animal you're going to have.
And I'm assuming you build a rapport, a relationship with those birds as far as they get to know what your expectations are of them, and you learn what they can and can't do.
Absolutely. It's the same as with any animal. The more time you spend with that animal, the better they're going to get to know you, and the better you're going to get to know them. You're going to know what to expect.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you trapped your first hawk. Tell me about that, and how do you get your birds?
Well, there's several different ways. Like I said, you're going to need a sponsor to help you on that. We can only take young birds as an apprentice. You can only take a immature red tail or passage bird. You'll trap her, you'll train her to hunt, and you can tell the passage from the red tail because the tail's not going to be red, it's going to be a brown color.
Okay.
So we only take young birds. Most young birds aren't good enough hunters, and when parents leave them, they're not going to make it through the winter. So if we take just a young bird, it's got a better chance for the next year.
Okay. And You have a peregrine falcon too. We don't have it today, but tell me about it.
I got her from a breeder in DePaul, a fantastic fella. I've actually got two. I've got a male and I've got a female. The female's not flying this year, the male is. It's a completely different type of hunting. With the goshawk and the red tails, you're hunting 75% of the time and you're training 25.
Okay.
With a falcon, you're training 90% and you're hunting 10.
Wow. Why the difference?
The falcon just flies so different. When I put a falcon up, I want her to go straight up above me about 1,000 feet. And you turn her loose and she, the fastest bird in the world, can be in the next county in 2 seconds. So I fly her with telemetry, and to watch her in a stoop coming down after a pheasant or a duck is just the most powerful thing you've ever seen.
So there's hold back here, pull the hair back here, so we can still release it.
So, whoever heard of putting tape, or not even putting tape, catch and release of rabbits? That's unreal. Huh. I heard you holler, I saw it go out in the field, and I saw it hit it, and I saw it come back towards here.
He rolled it out there.
Yeah.
And
Were you able to get it?
I did. I got the whole foot. Got the whole hunt. I got him.
There you go.
I got him taken off of your arm and then going after the rabbit, hitting him. The rabbit coming back, and then he nailed him.
That was a pretty good
That's
spot
better than I
to
can do. I
film
usually
from.
get corn stalks and grass footage. And
Pretty good raise there.
Yeah.
You can take film from. So now, what's the bird eating now?
now she's eating chicken necks with vitamins on them. Sometimes I use quail, Turnix quail.
Uh-huh. And so the reward for her to release that is to get this free food here.
Yeah.
And she gets to give you the rabbit alive.
Yeah. And that way I get plenty of fields to hunt. I can go back and hunt them the next day. Or
Oh gosh, yeah, this is unbelievable. That a raptor can, you can release something that a raptor catches.
well, she gets her reward, so she enjoys it. And I mean, it's what they do naturally. It's their
Sure.
instinct.
Now tell me what happened when we were there about the rabbit flushing, and then your decision to release, or.
Normally when the rabbit flushes, she just takes off the glove. But I got tangled up a little bit on my fingers, so I give her a little bit of toss. They don't like being tossed much. But normally when there's a rabbit, she's off the glove in a heartbeat. Her name's Mary too, by the way.
Mary?
Tell me about her. What kind of hawk is she?
She's a goshawk. I got her from Wyoming, thanks to the help of two great guys down in Evansville. At the Medicine Bow Mountains, we got her and she's about 3 weeks old. That was a trip in itself. I think we're about a quarter mile from the Continental Divide,
Oh, really?
where she was at.
Does she make a better hunting bird than another kind of hawk, or?
I think so.
So she's, did you say she's 5 years old?
She'll be 5 this year. She's an accipiter, which means she's a short wing hawk. She's a forest hawk. Her main staple's a grouse. And you know how fast a grouse can go.
Sure.
And she can take about anything she wants to, duck, pheasant, rabbit. She likes squirrel, but I don't like her hunting squirrel.
Oh, really? Why?
Her toes are kind of smaller than a red tail, and she could actually lose one. She gets get a bit off.
Oh, if a squirrel bites her toe off?
Yeah.
Really?
Ah,
And they can live how long?
20, 25 years.
Now you're talking about releasing this rabbit that she just caught. How is it that you can do that?
I just check him out. If he's not hurt too bad, I'll just, after I put her in the box, I'll try to release it in the same area I got him.
So the talons don't necessarily kill then?
No, not on the goshawk.
bird,
Goshawk's feet are smaller than a red tail. If a bird's got a smaller foot, you can do that. A red tail, the rabbit's generally going to be killed.
So that isn't something you actually trained her to do?
The release?
To release, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
That's why I give her a reward every time.
That's your training mechanism, is to give her a reward to release that. But the size of her feet dictates the not killing or injuring the bird to some degree. But a red tail's so big, with big talons and feet, that's what happens. So when they wrap around the rabbit, they're really coming all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're piercing rib cages and everything.
Yeah.
And we don't get to release all the rabbits, but you know,
Sure.
if it's unharmed, we can.
Tell me a little bit about now the hunt that we just had was a very successful hunt. It was our first flush of the day. Bird successfully took down the rabbit, and you were able to retrieve the rabbit. It's still alive, and we're going to be able to release it. But you're telling us that she's pretty much done now for the day because she's had her exercise, she's been fed. Tell me a little bit about feeding her and why we did that.
Well, I feed her as a reward when she gets the game. It's her reward. And I fed her quite a bit. And you want to, if they're heavy, raptors are mainly lazy, I guess.
Okay.
The only time they're going to hunt and kill is when they're hungry. If they're not hungry, they're going to sit in a tree and watch the rabbit walk by. So they just eat because they have to.
In the wild, how often would a hawk like this eat?
It depends on the weather. If it's real cold weather, they need to hunt more for their energy. If it's hot, 3-4 days. If they got chicks in the nest, they've got to hunt harder.
Okay. So she's been rewarded. She's fed now, and we're going to go ahead and return her to her cage. And I think we're going to go out with Zach's bird now, and we'll keep the hunt going. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with more Indiana Outdoor Adventures.
If you own timberland or open land, Hawbury Forestry Consulting specializes in timber sales, timber management, and wildlife habitat management for private landowners. We are also experienced with timber stand improvement, contract tree planting, and reforestation work. Our specialty is wildlife habitat management. If you own land and want to see an increase in deer, turkey, quail, and grouse populations on your property, we can tailor a management plan specifically for your needs.
Hillbilly Custom Game Calls, offering the finest and precision-made diaphragm mouth calls for wild turkey hunting. Each call is handmade and gauge stretched for exact tension each and every time. Select from double and triple reed calls like you've never heard before. We also have an assortment of handmade wood box calls, glass and slate top pot calls, and predator calls that will make us your source for all of your custom game call needs. Look for us online at www.hillbillygamecalls.com.
Enter to win a free turkey hunt with Indiana's 2010 Turkey Calling Champion. Indiana Outdoor Adventures is offering a free drawing to anyone age 18 years and older. The winner will receive a 2-day turkey hunt in southern Indiana with Indiana Outdoor Adventures pro staff member and state turkey calling champion Jack Rollins. The winner will receive a gift pack of custom-made turkey calls, a weekend stay in a log cabin, and your hunt will be aired next season as part of Indiana Outdoor Adventures. Enter online today at www.indianaoutdooradventures.com. One entry per person. The drawing will be held March 31st, 2011.
Lawrence County is an unexpected destination found in the heart of southern Indiana rolling hills, offering recreational landscapes, a rich limestone heritage, and unique outdoor experiences. This area is limestone country, well known for limestone quarries and stone carving heritage. It's also the home of Spring Mill State Park, geocaches, the scenic East Fork of the White River, and underground caverns. Plan your adventure at limestonecountry.com or call 800-798-0769.